Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. Unlike Instagram, I will never change without telling you. Perna. Instagram, of course, today accidentally tried a new feature that sends your wife or girlfriend a notification anytime you look at a picture of another woman for more than 5 seconds, which obviously did not sit well with its users. Now, all these tech people think they always need to be changing shit to make it better. Which honestly is how most of us feel about our teams heading into the offseason. Please God, change everything to make them better. Today we'll look at all the games for this Week 17 regular season finale. And again, I promise I will not change on you like Instagram, at Brandon Perna. I will never get better, but I will never get worse. I will stay exactly the same every week, cruising along in the medium speed lane of YouTube mediocrity. That's good sports. Please, if you're new here, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, check it out. I have a brand new sponsor today, and it's MyBookie. MyBookie is an online sports book, and with my promo code, That's Good, or with my link in the description, they will give you a 50% sign-up bonus up to $1,000. So if you're looking for extra cash to bet on games, use the That's Good promo code when you sign up at MyBookie. Today, I'm giving you all of the point spreads for the NFL games for Week 17, but right now it's college bowl season, and if you want to make games like, I don't know, Arkansas versus Nevada in the Arizona Bowl interesting, MyBookie is the place to make your bets. You can also do square betting, where you pick a square and then they assign numbers to your square, and if the team score those points, you win the square. It's my favorite football playoff form of betting. Again, link in the description, promo code That's Good, and hopefully you win a little cash. We've got the Dallas Cowboys versus New York Giants. The Giants are favored in this game, over under 41.5. The Cowboys have wrapped up the NFC East and are locked into the 4 seed, which means they'll likely be resting most of their starters for this game, probably why they're favored, except for Amari Cooper, who needs 26 yards to have a 1,000-yard receiving season. He is hell-bent on sending this New Year's greeting card to John Gruden. Whoa, that seems a little vulgar, Amari, even for this channel. And the New York Giants, well, at least they still have Saquon Barkley. So Giants, I guess. Carolina Panthers versus New Orleans Saints. NOLA, 7.5-point favorites, over under 43.5. The Saints have shit wrapped up, so this is another meaningless game this weekend. The Saints are so good that even their kicker was not embarrassed to post what age he lost his virginity at on Instagram. Now, 26 seems a bit old, even for me, but it makes sense that he would make 26 straight field goals this season, since that number is so special to him. 26 is also the number of days Thomas Morstead has forgotten to shave. The Saints have nothing to play for, and the first round bye locked up. The Panthers have placed starting quarterback Taylor Heinicke on injured reserve, but his glory will live in our hearts forever. God bless you, Taylor Hammurabi. New York Jets versus New England Patriots. Patriots, 13.5-point favorites, over under 44.5. Now, I would officially like to become the first person in sports media to point out that age is finally catching up to Tom Brady. First. Now, with the 40 time as slow as Brady's, it's crazy that it took Father Time this long to catch up to him. And now that it's actually happening, I don't know what to do. I'm like a dog actually catching up to the mail truck. Do I bite Tom Brady on the tires or get run over by him once again as I lie there dying in the fucking streets watching him go on a tear in the playoffs on his way to another Super Bowl? Please, Jets, give us a crazy upset. Pats will win, though. Detroit Lions versus Green Bay Packers. Over is doesn't matter. Under is who gives a shit. Some joke about being late to the pick of this game, like Matt Patricia is late to team meetings and press conferences. Jacksonville Jaguars versus Houston Texans. Houston, 6.5-point favorites, over under 40. Now, I was very conflicted when the Texans lost last week. For one, it put the Patriots back in the 2nd seed in the AFC, which is very bad. But on the other hand, it kept alive the possibility that Nick Foles could beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl for the 2nd year in a row. which would be nothing short of euphoric for me. The Jaguars have made it clear that they're going to stick with Doug Marrone, so next year should prove if it really was just Blake Bortles that was holding back this team from being a Super Bowl contender, which seems unlikely considering that with Blake Bortles, this team was a Super Bowl contender exactly 1 year ago. But hey, whenever you can blame exactly one person for the failures of an entire organization, that's an opportunity you cannot afford to pass up. Vance Joseph. Texans win. Atlanta Falcons versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta 1-point favorite, over under 51. This game seems fictional, like Santa Claus versus Aquaman. It means nothing. And in fact, I'd rather watch Jason Momoa fight Tim Allen, Kurt Russell, and Billy Bob Thornton in an underwater Christmas-themed battle royale. Now, I don't know if you can bet on it at my bookie, but I will put my money on Tim Allen because he's the only one that's actually served time, been on the inside. And yes, he knows how to kill a man with any tool. Both of these teams are massive disappointments, much like every Christmas after the age of 12. Matt Ryan, though, has quietly put up stellar passing numbers, especially since Julio Jones decided to score touchdowns. But no one gives a shit if you're not winning. Matt Ryan's 70% completion rate, 4,500 passing yards, 33 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and QB rating of 108.5 finally prove QB is the most overrated position in all sports. Falcons win because, again, this game is fiction. Miami Dolphins versus Buffalo Bills. Buffalo 4.5-point favorites, over under 39.5. Now, the Dolphins were about 3 wins away from giving the Patriots a run for their money in the AFC East. And the Bills were about 2 wins away from competing with the Miami Dolphins at their current record of 7 and not good enough. Josh Allen is the least accurate quarterback in the NFL, and the Dolphins are reportedly moving on from Ryan Tannehill after this season, which means all hope in usurping Tom Brady in the AFC East lies in the hands of, dear God, Sam Darnold. Raiders versus Chiefs. Chiefs 13.5-point favorites, over under 52.5. The Raiders are now officially homeless, or possibly couch surfing. The Raiders are your friend that got kicked out of their house in high school for doing drugs and then asks to stay at your place for a couple of days. Oh, and is it okay if I bring my 50,000 knife-wielding friends who wear weird costumes to crash too? They're totally cool, I swear. Then the Raiders smoke a little too much weed one night and go on about how they're gonna move to London for a year. Yeah, I bet, pal. Like all of these people in real life, they'll just end up in Las Vegas for the rest of their miserable lives, sitting in front of a slot machine as they watch all of their money go into John Gruden's bank account. The Chiefs are huge favorites in this game, and it's because they need to win to keep their number 1 seed. A loss with the Pats' win could knock them down to the number 2 seed at the very least, maybe more if the Chargers were to win as well. KC needs a win heading into the postseason, and they should beat the shit out of the Raiders. Philadelphia Eagles versus Washington Redskin Potatoes. Philly 7-point favorites, over under 42. It's time for the Big Dick Nick Redux, or as it's pronounced in Latin, Biggie Dicky Nicky Redux. Super Bowl Part 2 for Philly, really. All they need to do is beat Josh Johnson and the Skins in Washington, and for the Bears, who still have seeding to play for, to take care of the Vikings in Minneapolis. Easier said than done. But having Nick Foles on your side is like having God on your side. And if God be for us, who can be against us? Foles wins another Super Bowl, prompting the Eagles to keep him and trade Carson Wentz to the Broncos. I find nothing wrong with this plan, and I endorse it fully. It's God's plan. Note to self, start believing in God. Cleveland Browns versus Baltimore Ravens. Ravens 5.5-point favorites, over under 41. The Cleveland Browns are playing for a winning record for the first time since 2007, while the Ravens are trying to return to the playoffs for the first time since 2014, and for the first time since 2006 without Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback, and for their 10th postseason appearance since leaving Cleveland to become the Ravens. A massively successful trans-species surgery, if you ask me. Now, the Browns, they're in a little bit of a pickle, because winning would potentially give the Steelers a playoff berth, while losing would ensure that the city that literally stole their team gets into the playoffs. Easy solution though for the Browns, play for a tie. They started the season with a tie, so it makes perfect sense to end with one. It's all about symmetry, baby. Win or lose though, after the game, Baker Mayfield plans to say, fuck Hugh Jackson at his press conference, regardless. Bengals versus Steelers. Steelers 14.5 point favorites, over under 45.5. Now after blowing their last game to the Saints, the Steelers have to beat the Bengals, and they need the Browns to beat the Ravens in order to make it back into the playoffs for the 5th straight year. The key to the playoffs for the Steelers is Hugh Jackson, both for good reasons. Good because the team they need to beat has Hugh Jackson on the sideline. And even better because the team they need to win got rid of Hugh Jackson and has been playing excellent football ever since. I think the Steelers win. Chicago Bears versus Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota 5-point favorites, over under 40.5. Now if the Eagles lose, the Vikings are in the playoffs. If the Vikings win, the Vikings are in the playoffs. After firing John DeFilippo, the Vikings offense looks like a top 5 unit in the league. My question though is, are the Vikings actually good now? Or do they look great because they played the Lions and the Dolphins at the right time? Hard to say because Matt Patricia is so late, he was game planning for week 12 still when the Vikings crushed the Lions last weekend. And there it is, there's the Patricia joke. Rooting for the Bears in this one though because Nick Foles forever. Carson Wentz to Denver. 49ers versus Rams. Rams 10-point favorites, over under 48.5. The Rams do need a win in this game, or a Bears loss to secure a first-round bye. Kyle Shanahan could use a win in this game so he can ransom some team this offseason for a Nick Mullins trade. Now both the Bears and the Rams play in the afternoon, so the Rams are going to have to try and win this one. They won't know the result of the Bears game, is what I'm saying. The Rams are 10-point favorites on my bookie, so yes, I'm taking the Rams. The Seahawks already clinched their playoff berth and have been given a Week 17 bye as they play the Arizona Cardinals, who, with the loss, will have the first overall draft pick for the first time since 1958 when they were the Chicago Cardinals. And finally, Sunday Night Football, Colts versus Titans. Indy, 3-point favorites on the road, over under 44. Andrew Luck has never lost to the Titans. Is a stat you cannot mention before this game if you're a Colts fan, because you know it will curse them. Instead say, Andrew Luck has never seen Remember the Titans, as a coded way to talk shit to Titans fans on Twitter. If the Texans lose, the Colts or Titans can still clinch the AFC South with a win in this game. But most importantly, the loser of this game will be eliminated from everything. Now, I could see the Titans winning a close game. I could see the Titans winning by 20. I could see the Titans losing by 1. And I could see the Titans getting shut out 35-0. That's how little I understand the goddamn Titans. They are to the NFL this season what chemistry was to me in high school. Something I did not understand and something I knew would never help me in life. You gonna loan me some money, Mike Vrabel? Well then, that statement is true. Andrew Luck is like the Matt Ryan of winning this season. Marcus Mariota is still dealing with that weird elbow nerve injury. And Marlon Mack and Derrick Henry could both rush for 150 yards Sunday night. I haven't been this excited for a Titans-Colts game since 2003 when Peyton Manning and Steve McNair shared the MVP award. I do like both of these teams, but I'm picking the Colts to win because not getting Adam Vinatieri into the playoffs at least one last time would be a waste, especially if he somehow beats the Patriots on a game-winning kick to send FYTB home and hopefully into retirement. Full circle. Adam Vinatieri comes full circle and ends, fuck you, Tom Brady. Those are your Week 17 finale game picks. Thanks for watching all of these throughout this season. Your commitment is very impressive. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't done so already. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, @BrandonPerna. Give @WillKeys6 a follow on Twitter. He helps me write all of these bad boys. And next weekend, we get to start talking playoff football. That's when shit gets really